This 8th century temple has the three-part design of the larger Kalasan temple but is probably slightly older. Some experts believe that its second floor may have served as a dormitory for the Buddhist priests who took care of nearby Candi Kalasan. The sculptured reliefs around the exterior are similar to those of Kalasan, but are in much better condition. It is about 200 meters north from Candi Kalasan, 4.5 kilometers west of Prambanan, in the middle of coconut and banana groves. Candi Sari Indonesian. Candi Sari, also known as Candi Bendah, is an 8th century Buddhist temple located at Dusun Bendan, Tirtomartani village, Candi Sleman Regency, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. It is located about 130 meters northeast from Kalasan Temple. The temple was a two-story building with wooden beams, floors, stairs completed with windows and doors, all from organic materials which now are decayed and gone. It is suggested that the original function of this building was a vihara, Buddhist monastery, a dwelling place for monks. The temple's name Saré or Saré translates as to sleep in Javanese, which also confirms the habitation nature of the building. History. Historians suggested that the temple was built around the same time as the Kalasan temple. The Kalasan inscription dated 778 AD, in Pranagari script written in Sanskrit, mentions that the temple was erected by the will of Raja Sale and Ramsati, the jewel of the Shailendra dynasty, who succeeded in persuading Maharaja Tejapurnapanapanankran, in other parts of the inscription also called as Karyayanapanankaran, to construct a holy building for the goddess of Vihara and also build a vihara, monastery, for Buddhist monks from Sale and her family's realm. Panankran awarded the Kulra village to the Sangha, the Buddhist monastic community. 3. Based on this inscription, Candi Sari was probably the monastery for monks who served the nearby Kalasan temple. The ruins were discovered in early 1920s, and in 1929, an effort to reconstruct the temple began and was finished in 1930. However, it was incomplete because many parts are missing, including the outer base that surrounds the temple, and the extended front room and front stairs that once projected from the east wall of the temple. Architecture. The temple consists of 3 parts: the base, the body, and the roof. The temple has a rectangular plan, measuring 17.3 meters north-south, 10 meters west-east, and soaring 17 meters in height. Only some parts of the base remain. The outer base stone blocks are missing. The entrance door is located at the eastern side with a gate adorned with a kala and elephant carving. Windows surround the walls and consist of lower and upper rows. There is also a horizontal middle belt line around the wall, suggesting that it was a 2-story building. The interior consists of 3 rooms: north room, central room, and south room, each measuring 3 meters by 5.8 meters. These 3 rooms are connected with doorways on the eastern side of the room along the north-south axis. On the wall of each room are found rows of extruding stone blocks which use to support wooden beams and a wooden ceiling separating the upper and lower floors. In some places there are diagonal stones, which is probably the place where there used to be a wooden stairway. The upper level was probably used by monks for meditation or worship. Some suggest the upper rooms were used as the place for monks to stay, rest, or sleep, while the lower rooms was the place for worship. In the lower rooms there are some elevated parts where statues were once placed, but now the statues are gone. On the side walls are found niches, probably to place oil lamps. In the inner part of each window there are holes to install wooden window bars. These rooms were topped with 3 horseshoe arched niches adorned with kalamakaras and crowned with 3 rows of stupas. Between these arched niches are found rainwater drainage and Jaladwara water spouts taking the form of a giant sitting on a snake. The outer wall is richly decorated with Buddhist deities. External decoration include Tara with flowers and bodhisattvas with musical instruments. These figures are arranged in 2 upper and 2 lower rows placed on each side of the windows. They form a total of 36 statues, 8 on the east, north, and south sides respectively, and 12 on the west side. These Buddhist figures are usually found in the graceful position of Tribhanga, holding red or blue lotuses and displaying peaceful and serene facial expressions. Images of Kinnar or Kinnari also adorn the walls. However, unlike the common depiction of Kinnara as heavenly creature with an upper human-shaped part and a lower bird-shaped part, the unusual image of Kinnara found on the northern wall shows a winged deity, somewhat similar to how commonly angels are portrayed. On the outer wall of the temple are found the traces of plaster called Vajralipa, lid, diamond plaster. The same substance is also found in the nearby Kalasan temple. The white yellowish plaster was applied to protect the temple wall, but now the plaster has worn off. Ornate carvings of Buddhist deities cover the exterior walls of this magnificent holy structure where monks once lived. Explore other interesting archaeological sites in the area. Candi Sari is an impressive 8th century Buddhist temple with many preserved and reconstructed features. It comprises 2 stories and an upper layer with well-maintained floors, stairs, doors and windows. Explore this former monastery and imagine the monks making it their home many centuries ago. Snap photos of the imposing facade, which is split into the base, the body and the upper roof. The temple, which is 56 feet, 17 meters, high, has a main portal on its eastern side. Inspect the intricate carving of a deity and an elephant on the door. Gaze up at the 9 stupas, or pointed shrines, that decorate the roof. The exterior of the building is ornate, with sculptures of Buddhist figures and flower motifs. Spot the 36 statues of Bodhisattva and Tara that cover all 4 sides of the temple. Enter the structure and explore its 3 large rooms. Notice the elevated features, where statues once stood. Niches on the walls may have held oil lamps. It is believed monks use the upper level to meditate. Walk around the serene grounds, which are flanked by a dense forest. Note that the name of the structure is Javanese for sleep temple, which suggests the monks might have lived here. It was discovered in the early 20th century and reconstructed in the 1920s. Although dating from the same period as Candi Kalasan, Candi Sari has a radically different style. This handsome building with 3 parts, which stands on a high base and is topped with stupas, is more reminiscent of Candi Kalasan. Like the latter, it is built on 2 levels, but the wooden ceiling has now disappeared. On the facade punctuated with bays, the Buddhist divinities are surprisingly large, 2 meters, with elongated limbs and a typically Indian graceful stance. Saré Temple was discovered in ruins in the early 20th century. The first restoration was conducted between 1929 and 1930. Campers said that the first restoration was not satisfying, as it failed to restore the temple to its original form because parts of the temple could not be found. In addition, parts of the temple had crumbled when they were discovered. In the 19th century, ruins of temple, probably a monastery, were found around 130 meters from Kalasan temple. Saré Temple is only a part of a group of temples no longer in existence. It is estimated that the temple was surrounded by stone walls. As that of Kalasan Monastery, the entrance door of the Saré Temple is guarded by a couple of Dwarapula statues holding a cudgel and snake. Temple is laid out on a rectangular plan 17.30 by 10 meters in dimension, although it is believed that the original dimension was wider because the temple's original base projects around 1.60 meters. The temple stands around 18 meters from bottom to the top. The temple's gate, which is around 1/3 of the temple's face and half of the temple's height, has already gone, leaving only traces connecting the gate and the front wall. According to Kempers, Saré Temple was originally a building with 2 or even 3 floors. The upper floors served as storage of religious objects, while the lower floor was to accommodate religious activities such as teaching and learning, discussion, and so on. The wall of the temple is coated with Vajralapa, similar to the wall of Kalasan temple is. That the temple is divided into 2 floors is already visible from the outside, with the presence of projecting part like a belt around the temple's body. The division becomes more apparent with the pillar arrangement along the wall of the lower floor and with niches along the wall of the second floor. Niches along the outside walls of the upper and lower floors, which had probably held Buddha statues, are empty. The temple's outer walls are adorned with statues and other beautiful ornaments. Each of the door and window frames is flanked by statues of man and woman standing and holding lotus flowers. There are a total of 36 statues, 8 on the front wall, east, 8 on south wall, and 12 on the west wall, back. The size of each statue is as big as human figure. The other parts of the wall, there are various designs of decoration, such as inari, man-headed bird, twining plants and kumuda, leaves and flowers creeping out of a spherical jar. There is a kalimikara above the window frame and niches sculptured without its lower jaw. The kalimikara looks very decorative and far from being frightening. As it is the case at Kalasan Temple, there is Vajralapa coating applied over the walls of Saré Temple. Vajralapa is an agent that preserves and brightens stones. The stairway accessing the temple base has crumbled. Next to the stairway, there is a stone pedestal. It is unclear though, whether the pedestal belongs to that place or not. However, the pedestal was half buried to the ground. The entrance is located in the middle of east side. In the original design, the entrance was preceded by a core-built roof. As the core-built roof has fallen into ruins, the entrance is clearly seen from outside. The embellishment on the entrance frame and the kalimikara on the frame are simple because the more beautiful decorations were on the core-built roof. Is a row of 3 chambers inside the temple. Each chamber is 3.48 meters x 5.80 meters. There are windows and doors connecting the middle chamber to the flanking chambers. Those chambers are designed to be 2-story chambers. Each chamber is divided into 2 stories using planks of wood supported by 14 wooden beams. Therefore, there are actually 6 chambers inside the temple. At the back wall of each chamber, there is a shelf placed rather high on the wall. People used to use the shelf to pray or to place relics. At the lower story, there are pedestals and recesses on the wall for holding statues. However, no statue is found here. At the south and north chambers, there are niches on the wall to place illumination. Although the floors and other wooden parts of the structure are not seen at the site, there are holes in the walls in which people used to fit wooden beams. At the south chamber, there are stones on the wall that with slanting markings. Those markings are meant to support the edges of wooden steps. The temple roof is a rectangular block of stones ornamented with 3 niches on each side. The niche frame is decorated with sculptures of twining plants and there is a kalimikara above the frame. At the top of the temple, there are rows of stupas. There is a stupa on each corner of the roof, and there is a stupa at the middle of each roof side. Saré Temple was undergoing restoration when the pictures shown here were taken in March 2003.